I'm thinking of ending things. Not me, not really. It's the name of the book. Look, I went into this one very skeptical. Why? Because it's popular. I mean, more popular than a lot of the stuff I usually read. It's mainstream at least, and for some reason, mainstream often means trash. Am I wrong? McDonald's is mainstream, but it's literal junk food, whereas many mainstream books are literary junk food. Anyway, I had low expectations for I'm thinking of ending things, and after reading it, my suspicions were confirmed. The book's as boring as watching dry paint. Not paint dry, dry paint. You don't even get the excitement of watching it dry. So, what did I do? I read the book again, and it completely flipped my opinion.
No fluff writing advice. Cut the fluff!
I'm thinking of ending things has almost 12,000 reviews on Amazon. Not entirely positive, by the way. Has been made into a Netflix movie, and most importantly, is one of the most boring books I've read this year. On the first read through, because the ending changes everything. For real though, most of the book is just the unnamed main character and her boyfriend Jake driving to meet Jake's parents. That's it. They're just sitting in a car, communicating. She's thinking of ending things. How do you know? She keeps fucking thinking it over and over and over again. At this point, you don't know why you're supposed to care. Then there's the cola. At a certain point, I thought to myself, if she mentions the cola one more time without explaining what the hell she's talking about, I'm ending things, as in I'm ending my reading of this book. But I kept pushing through because I assumed something has to happen soon, right? Wrong. The narrator, the thinker of ending things, also has an odd voice and rhythm. She's almost robotic, like she has no personality. Her thought patterns are weird and she thinks in a lot of short sentences. It's deliberately off putting. Really, the entire book is very deliberately off putting. Like you know something's not right, but you can't quite identify what. It's like an uncanny valley situation. Throughout most of the narrative, there's an underlying sense of unease. It's creepy, but not overtly. The author, Iain Reid, does a great job of creating that unsettling vibe. It's subtle yet gripping. It's the only reason I kept going with the book. You feel there's something there lurking beneath the surface. You just don't know what it is until like right at the end, if you make it that far. Also, at the ends of chapters, you get some clues as to what's really happening, but it doesn't make a lot of sense until the end. At least it didn't for me. It's a conversation between two people about an incident. It's part of the wider smorgasbord of clues that are placed throughout the narrative. If you do read it a second time, you realize almost every line is a clue with a hidden message that's part of the bigger puzzle. It's well written in that regard, subtle for the most part, and clever once you know what you're reading. All right, when the couple finally arrive at Jake's parents' house, there's a lot more well crafted weirdness. If anything, the weirdness increases, as does the underlying sense of tension and unease. At that point, honestly, I was thinking, all this weird shit better be relevant, otherwise, I'm throwing this book against a wall, which would mean throwing my Kindle against a wall. Not good for the Kindle or the wall. I was about three quarters into the book and I still couldn't say if it was good or not. It all was going to come down to the ending. And when the twist was finally revealed, I groaned. Are you serious? Yes, it makes sense and brings it all together, but really, it's far from original, I'll say that much. With that said, while the twist did leave me feeling a little cheated, it does work, especially once you see all the clues, most of which I missed or didn't understand on the first read through. Even after I finished the book, I still didn't know if it was good or not, which is a weird feeling. I've got a big reading list, so I didn't want to read the same book again, but I couldn't give a fair and accurate review without that second read through. At the end of the book, the author even implies you should read it again, which is quite a big ask, fella. Luckily, the story's quite short, so it's not a huge task to breeze through it again, especially when you know what to expect and what you're looking for. Without a second read through, I wouldn't have fully understood what happened. But on close inspection, all those weird lines make sense. They serve a double purpose. One, create that sense of unease. Two, hint at what's really happening. On the second read through, I realize the author has crafted the story for what it is pretty well. There are a lot of layers, bordering on too many perhaps, but in the end, all the information you need is there. Speaking of popular books, I gave Verity by Colleen Hoover a fairly negative review, partly because it doesn't give you enough information to work out what really happened, no solid answers when it felt like we would get some. Funnily, it has a higher Amazon rating than I'm Thinking of Ending Things, so make of that what you will. Overall, I'm Thinking of Ending Things is a boring drive to a thrilling conclusion that makes you, that is, made me, want to read it again to find everything you missed or didn't understand the first time. Is it perfectly executed? Not necessarily. You do have to suspend disbelief quite a bit to accept the entire story and situation. At the same time, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. And while I do feel cheated by the twist, I mean, I'm not joking. I literally groaned out loud, and not in pleasure for the record. The boring bits, that is, most of the book, suddenly become interesting once you know what's happening. So, if you plan to read I'm Thinking of Ending Things, be prepared to read it twice. Or maybe just be better at deciphering clues than me. That's also an option. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this video, hit subscribe anyway. And hate watch my content. That's always fun.